you're watching this. So today's practice I am titling Abundance, with the thought of Thanksgiving being this week, and I wanted to specify my ideas for calling the class this because recently I've been thinking about how we experience emotions, how we experience struggle and hardship in our lives, and how we face that on our mats. And I was thinking that it's possible, it's likely that at this time of this year, you're not feeling that you have abundance. You might not be feeling abundance in the way that you think you should, or the way that you'd like to be feeling it. Like you might not feel an abundance of wealth, or an abundance of food, or abundance of care. You might be feeling abundance of things that we deem negative, or things that we generally try to push away or bury or numb ourselves to. And if you're hearing that and that feels true to you, the idea behind the practice today, my thinking is that how do we accept and potentially even be grateful for the struggles in our lives? I know Nicole is out there watching, and she and I are in a book club together, and we're reading a book about resilience and how it relates to the yoga practice. And I read one of the essays this weekend, and I loved this quote that I don't know which author had the quote, but she was just talking about using the yoga mat and the yoga practice as a playground for her anxiety. Like something that her anxiety was something that she was always pushing away, always deflecting, and then when she got to her yoga mat, it became something, kind of a safe space, like a playground, to explore. So let's frame our mats in that way. So if you're not coming to your mat today with a feeling of abundance, consider that abundance might take many forms. And let's meet ourselves where we are and come to a seated position at our yoga mat. Okay. So, create a comfortable, possibly comfortable, supported seat for yourself, whether it be propped up on blankets or blocks. I'm going to cross my legs at the ankles. You might like to do the same. You could even sit on a chair at this point in the practice. And as you arrive in your seated position, close your eyes. Find a place to rest your hands. Let your shoulder blades slide down the back of your chest. Root down through the legs and hips. Grow tall along your spine. Tilt your chin down parallel to the floor as you lengthen the back of your neck. Arrive here, meet this moment. You might start with a perceptive sweep of the area around you. Noticing sounds. Perhaps you feel the temperature of the room, movement of air from a fan or perhaps you're practicing outside. Can you sense light against the eyelids? Orient yourself in this time and space. And now begin to turn your sensory exploration inward. Physically, what might you be experiencing? And again, there might be the presence of discomfort or even pain. If that discomfort is, if you can avoid it, you might choose to. If it's unavoidable, how do you sit with it? How do you find acceptance of what is in this moment? And with this inner exploration, there might be some emotions that come up. Again, consider this concept of abundance. What might you be experiencing in this moment most acutely? Consider that this is the space we have to move in and we have to move from. Begin to cultivate your breath. Slow and deep, in and out through the nostrils if those passageways are available. If not, you can breathe in and out through the mouth. Perhaps transitioning the breath into the practice of Ujjayi pranayama by drawing in a gentle contraction at the back of the throat. Watch the waves of the breath roll in and out. Feel the breath like an incoming tide. Each inhale swells more fully. The inner body expands. Each exhale, a long, slow retreat back to the sea, back to the ocean. We'll explore 3 more rounds of the Ujjayi pranayama breathing. I'll do a slow count of 5 for the inhalation and a slow count of 5 for each exhalation. Empty your lungs and inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fill and hold for a moment. Exhale as the wave comes crashing down for 5, receding 4, 3, 2, 1. Empty the lungs. Again, inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fill and hold. And exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last biggest wave, biggest breath together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fill and hold. Exhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Empty. Return to your breathing, and perhaps bring the hands together in front of the heart space for Om. We'll chant Om 3 times. Exhale the breath completely, and inhale for Om. Bow your head to your heart, release palms to thighs, then slowly lift your head as you open your eyes. Okay, we're gonna switch the cross of our legs if you have the legs crossed as we move into a twist. Let's inhale to sweep the arms overhead, reach up, and then exhale, start to open the chest towards the left wall. Land the hands lightly, right hand on the left thigh, left hand behind the back. Keep the legs and hips rooted as you grow tall along the spine. Use the abdominal muscles to revolve around the central channel of your spine. Moving up along the spine, your awareness like stepping up a spiral staircase. From right low belly to left waistline, from right ribs to left shoulder, and eventually take the gaze back over the left shoulder. You can activate the hands now, pushing the right hand against the left thigh to revolve the right shoulder forward, bringing the upper back more into the equation, contracting the shoulder blades on the back as you broaden and open the heart space. Breathe into this shape. Arrive in this moment. Meet yourself where you're at. And then again, consider this idea that the practice, the mat, is your playground. Perhaps you're playing with pain. Perhaps you're playing with struggle. Perhaps you're playing with stress and anxiety. Perhaps you're playing with enjoying your body. Okay, right hand stays where it is. Left arm reaches up along the left ear, growing tall out of the left waistline. And then exhale, lean at an angle over the right thigh or towards the right if you're in a chair or seated in any other position. Draw the right shoulder forward, look up beyond the left tricep muscles towards the ceiling. Attempt to soften the face as you direct awareness and breath along the left side body. And inhale back to center, slight counter twist. And then back to center. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead, reach up, grow tall, And then exhale, open the upper body towards the right wall as you lightly land the hands down. Legs and hips stay rooted, and then walk the awareness up the spiral staircase of your spine, from left low belly to right waistline, from left ribs to right shoulder, from the left side of the neck to the right side of the face. Then hands press down, activating the shoulder blades onto the upper back, broadening the collarbones, lifting and opening the heart space. Keep the left hand where it is, extend the right arm up alongside the right ear, reach up out of the right waistline, ground through the right hip, grow tall, and then exhale, lean the upper body at an angle towards the left. You might use the left hand to draw the left shoulder forward as you look up beyond the right tricep muscles. Awareness, breath into the right side body, creating more space. And inhale, come back to center, counter twist, back to center. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead, and exhale, keeping the hips grounded, begin to fold forward. Perhaps walking the hands gradually forward as the head sinks downward, forehead towards the earth or to the floor or onto a prop. And arrive here. Folding in, bowing down. Use the breath to access the back body. Perhaps as you breathe and notice, there might arise the opportunity to fold deeper, to surrender the head and the heart and the hips to the earth. Slowly walk your hands back towards your knees, push yourself upright, and remove any padding off to the side of your mat as we come forward into our tabletop position. Familiar shapes this morning. Wrists below the shoulders, knees hip-width distance. Inhale, belly and chest down, tailbone and gaze lift, contracting the back to open the front in cow. And then exhale, round the spine, chin to chest, tailbone towards the floor, belly button towards the ceiling, push the earth away, dome the upper back in cat. And continue to move through these two shapes with the pace of your breath. So as this is early on in the week, early on in the practice, let the range of motion grow gradually. So even as you are cultivating slower, deeper, more expansive breaths, your poses start to slowly find a little bit deeper expression with each go-round. modifications to these movements. So as I'm talking about this idea of what you have in abundance when you come to your mat, and whether that be something that you deem as positive or negative, how do we meet that? But one thing that you have a lot of choices in your practice, thinking about this idea of the practice being an opportunity to play, a playground for what you're working on in your life. So do you notice that you might suffer needlessly sometimes on your mat? So for example, if your knees are aching in this shape, would it not be an easy way to alleviate that suffering just to put a blanket underneath your knees? Just something to consider. Okay, come back to a neutral spine, and we're going to take the left leg over to the right. So the left foot comes to the outside of the mat on the right, and then we're going to look over the right shoulder at the left ankle. So we're creating a contraction from the right hip to the right shoulder as we expand the left side body once again. Push back through the left heel, engage the left leg so the kneecap is lifting in and up. And then back to center. Second side, right leg out to the left. Look over the left shoulder. Hug the left shoulder towards the left hip, looking at the left ankle. Contracting the left side now to open the right side. And once again, back to center. Walk your hands forward or step your knees back, preparing for downward facing dog. Tuck your toes under, and then send your hips up and back. And as you arrive in your dog pose, you might give your dog a walk, pedaling the feet back and forth, exploring the backs of your legs, exploring the outer hips, and again, meeting yourself where you are, noticing what's coming up. And eventually walking your dog back to stillness. Bring a bend to your knees as you look forward. Push your hands down and forward as you melt your heart down and back towards the thighs. Push with the hands, reach with the hips, contract the upper back, lengthen the sides of the body, root through the fingertips, or root through the fingerprints, root through the knuckles, and then slowly begin to melt the weight of the head down, lengthen the heels down, lift along the front sides of the legs, diminishing the crease at the front of each ankle, lifting the kneecaps up. And from here, lift your left leg straight up and back for a three-legged dog. Let's hold in our three-legged dog pose. Push the hands down and forward. Shift the hips evenly up and back. Look at the left toes. Lift through the left inner thigh. Push with the foot. Lift with the thigh. And then look to the top of your mat. Exhale to lunge the left foot forward between the hands. Set up on fingertips or perhaps with hands on blocks, framing the front foot, and then melt the right knee down to the floor. Again, eliminate needless suffering if necessary, and bring a blanket underneath the right knee. Scissor the legs together and bring the hands to the front thigh. Interlace your fingers, press your elbows straight, lift into the heart space, and either choose to stay here or gently begin to melt the hips down and forward. So make this movement gradual. Explore depth with breath and time. Keep the legs scissoring together as the weight of the hips moves down and forward. Draw the lower ribs in and back, keeping the middle back tall. Open, curl open the chest, the chest as the shoulder blades come together and down the back. Arms at your sides, palms turn forward, shoulders roll back. Possibly stay here or slowly sweep the arms overhead as you inhale. Reach towards the sky, possibly look towards the sky. You might even start to curl back slightly in the upper back. Take the arms back. Breathe here. And then chest forward, hands frame the front foot, press back, downward facing dog once again. And left foot can inch towards center as your right leg extends up and back for another prolonged three-legged dog. So hands push evenly down and forward. Look to the right leg, lift the right leg using the strength of the inner thigh. Make sure the right toes turn straight down towards the mat. Push through the foot, lift through the thigh, let the left leg lengthen. So extend down through the heel, lift along the front of the left leg, push the hands down and forward, keep breathing, and then look to the top of your mat with your next exhalation. Bring your right foot to the top of your mat. Frame the foot with fingertips or blocks, and then left knee can come down to the mat or a blanket. Scissor the legs in to tone, and then hands come to the front thigh. Interlace the fingers, prop the chest up. Find yourself in this shape with your breath, and gradually begin to explore melting the hips down and forward. So it's not just one big dump or one big release. It's especially with lunges, I think of this pulsing action, this contraction and expansion happening, aiding one another to keep our bodies strong and flexible all at once. So the right heel is pulling back, the left knee is drawing forward as the weight of the hips sinks gradually. Lower ribs in and back, tailbone long, chest open and lifted. Arms can come to the sides of the body, roll the shoulders back, palms forward, inhale, sweep the arms up. Look up as you reach up, and then arms might come back, heart might lift, gaze might go back, curl in the upper back, keeping the heart space lifting skyward. Breathe. And then chest forward, hands frame the front foot, tuck the back toes, step back, downward facing dog. You might remove the padding if you have it. And then we're going to inhale forward into a plank position like the top of a push-up. Let's do some push-ups. It's been a minute. Exhale, lower down with control, possibly coming to your knees. Inhale, push up. And exhale, because it's yoga, back to downward facing dog. Hands press down and forward, hips press up and back. Join me again. Inhale, exhale, lower down. Inhale, push up. Exhale, hips shift back. 3 more, first set. Inhale, forward. Exhale, lower. Inhale, press. Exhale, back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, lower. Inhale, press. Exhale, back. Last one, first set. Inhale, forward. Exhale, lower with control. Inhale, press up. And exhale, hip shift back. Child's pose if you're on your knees, or down dog. And then everybody lift the knees, come back to down dog. Let's inhale once more to a plank position. This time, melt your knees to the earth. Tilt your tailbone towards the ceiling like you're doing cow pose in the low back. Reach your chin and chest forward and slowly lower down, bending your elbows back, chin and chest touch down, elbows hug in, then slide forward onto your belly. Extend the legs back one at a time. Point through the toes, ground the tops of the feet. Engage the muscles of the legs, lengthen through the tailbone. Push down through your hands, shoulder blades hug together behind your heart. And then slowly peel the chin and chest up away from the floor. starting with the little baby cobra, just using the strength of the upper back, lifting the hands momentarily off of the floor to emphasize how there's no weight in your hands. And then begin to push your hands down. Keep your elbows hugging in, shoulder blades squeezing together behind the heart to keep the front of the chest open. Now as you press down, pull back. Isometrically draw the heels of the hands towards the back of the mat. Don't forget to keep the legs engaged. Push down with the feet, lift with the kneecaps. Pull the rib cage, pull the heart forward, curl the chest and gaze up. Sides of the neck back, crown of the head lifts. And then exhale, come on down, chin to the mat. Tuck your toes and lift your knees. Tone the muscles of your legs, exhale and push up from the floor into a plank position. Exhale, hips shift up and back, downward facing dog. So we are going to flow through a few sun salutations. Surya Namaskar A. As you inhale next, lift the left leg straight up and back. As you look to the top of your mat, exhale, lunge the left foot between the hands, melt the right knee down. Inhale, sweep the arms up, look up. Exhale, hands frame the front foot and step forward, fold forward. Inhale, fingertips to the shins, come up halfway. Exhale and fold deeply in. Inhale, push down through the feet, rise to standing, arms sweep overhead, palms touch. Exhale, hands come down through heart center and arms to your sides, Tadasana. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale and flow forward, fingertips to the earth. Inhale, fingertips to the shins, halfway lift. And as you exhale, fold forward and send the left foot back, left knee down. Inhale, sweep the arms up, reach up, palms touch. Exhale, hands frame the front foot, send the right leg back, plank position. Exhale, knees, chest and chin. Inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, fold forward, tuck the toes, push up and back, downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Inhale. Exhale fully. Inhale, wave rolls in. Exhale, recede. Inhale, biggest breath in. And exhale, let it go. Inhale, right leg lifts. Look to the top of your mat. Exhale, lunge your right foot between your hands. Melt the left knee down. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, frame the front foot and step forward, fold forward. Inhale, fingertips to the shins, shoulders on the back. Exhale, fold deeply in. Inhale, rise, push through the feet, reach the gaze, arms overhead. Exhale, hands down through heart center and arms to your sides. Again, inhale, sweep up. And exhale, flow forward. Inhale, lift halfway, fingertips on the shins. Exhale, as you fold, plant the hands, send the right leg back, right knee down. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. And exhale, hands frame the front foot, step back, plank position. Inhale in plank and exhale either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale, curl up, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. And we arrive again in our dog pose. 3 breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale fully. And exhale completely. Biggest breath in. And full breath out. Okay, come down to your knees. If you have a block, bring a block to the top of your mat at its widest setting. Frame the block with your hands. The crease between your index finger and thumb wrapping around the bottom corner on each side of your block. Palms grounding to the mat, forearms parallel to one another. Plant your elbows below your shoulders. Okay, so you're in a forearm table pose. Let the weight of your heart melt down. So take a moment. Where's your heart? Let the weight of your heart sink down towards the floor. Nestle your shoulder blades together behind your heart. And then draw the shoulders actively away from the ears so that the shoulder blades, as they come together, are pushing down the backside of your chest. Now, activate your upper abdomen by drawing your low front ribs in and back so that the middle spine lengthens. Keep the gaze between the forearms on the mat and then lift the hips up. So now you have transitioned from a forearm table to a forearm dog pose. Perhaps this is the work. Perhaps you're feeling strain, feeling this. If we're using the playground analogy, this is what's the hard thing to do on the playground? The monkey bars. So this is as far as you want to go on the monkey bars. If you want to keep going, walk your feet in, lifting the hips higher without letting the shoulders come forward at the elbows. Maybe the left leg lifts. Maybe you start to practice little hops with the right foot as you kick the left leg. So maybe you even feels like you pause for a moment. Push down with the forearms, shoulders out of the ears. If you have a wall, you might kick into it. Okay, second side. Left foot towards center, right leg lifts. Gaze between the forearms, forearms down, elbows down, shoulders away from the ears, and start to kick with the right leg, hop with the left leg. Maybe you're just getting a couple of inches of height. Maybe you balance for a moment. There's a moment where you feel like you've suspended with some ounce of control. And then come on down, knees to the floor. Point your toes, send your hips back to your heels. Arms stay forward, forehead melts down. And arrive back in this moment. Release the weight of the arms. Bring breath back to the back body. So now we are in a moment of rest, contrasting that moment of pushing ourselves, that moment of exploring our boundaries, testing our strength. So notice the resonant energy of that experience. And whether you are feeling an abundance of struggle or perhaps an abundance of triumph, whatever this moment brings, meet it. Meet it with breath, meet it with acceptance, and then here's the real challenge. Do you want to meet this moment with acceptance? Sweep the arms back. Palms might turn up as the heads of the arm bones roll forward. Upper back broadens. Now begin to roll up along the spine, and then we'll push our way all the way up to standing. Let's do some standing postures. So take blocks, if you have them, to either side of your mat. And we will step to the center of the mat. Bring your inner feet together. Lift and spread your toes. Push down through the soles of the feet. Tone the muscles of the legs. Arrive in Tadasana. So we're kind of transitioning from an inverted position to this strong standing pose. So take a moment to orient yourself in this new relationship to the earth. Pushing down through the feet, feeling the strength of the legs, the breadth of the chest. And then walk your feet wide apart. So we're going to move through triangle, warrior two, and side angle. The big three. And so take a wide stance. Generally, with your arms out at the height of your shoulders, you want your wrists below your your wrists above your ankles. So that's hard to see. That's hard to know if you're there unless you have a monitor or a mirror, but it's a wide stance. Turn your toes in just slightly from parallel with the edges of your mat. That's something new that I'm trying. Tone the muscles of your legs, so pull your kneecaps in and up. Lengthen down through the tailbone, tone your upper abdomen, lower ribs in and back. Lengthen through the fingertips, broaden through the collarbones, chin parallel to the floor. This is a pose too. Breathe here. And now turn your left toes out 90 degrees. I'm going to turn my right toes in a little more. So if you'd like to experiment with turning the right toes in a little more from here, please do so. Keep the chest squared forward. Inhale, and then as you exhale, bring the left hand down to the ankle, or if you'd like to grab the block and bring it to the outside of the shin, you can do that as well. So triangle has many forms. You might hear many different variations of this shape that is called triangle. So as I said, it might be hand on the ankle, it might be hand outside the shin. Experiment. Again, the mat is your playground. What are you playing with? What are you practicing? Where are you challenging yourself? Where are you seeking more support? Open up across the front of the chest, tone the muscles of the legs, revolve the left ribs forward as you spiral the right ribs back. Notice where the gaze is today. So the gaze, the traditional gaze in this pose is up beyond the right fingertips towards the ceiling. If this causes strain in the neck that's distracting you from every other part of your body, you might choose for that to be your playground. The strain of the neck, using this as a pose to focus on the neck. Or if that's not what you want to focus on today, you might turn the gaze forward or even turn the gaze down. Be in this powerful, expansive, strong shape. And then from here, pull up through the right arm and bring the hands to the hips. With the hands on the hips, square the chest forward once again. Look at the left knee and begin to bend the left knee in the direction of the left toes. Tone, strengthen the right leg. So in the past, I've really emphasized this pushing the right thigh bone back. In recent months, I've noticed that that's unnecessarily strenuous for me. So I'm going to explore letting the right hip come a little bit forward in my warrior today. So notice where your warrior is. Meet yourself where you're at and find, especially if you've been practicing for a long time, recognize that you might know a thing or two about your body in these shapes. So trust your own instincts. Sweep your arms up to the height of your shoulders. Reach through your fingertips and take the gaze over beyond the left fingertips. You might try to turn your inner elbows up towards the ceiling as the shoulder blades go down the back side of the chest. Again, explore this moment. What might you be experiencing in abundance? And then press the left leg straight. Let's bring the hands back to the hips and make sure we have a block handy at the outside of the left ankle. You might put your block at the highest setting if you're not sure, and then bend your left knee once again. Again, I'm not going to emphasize pushing the right hip back. but I will focus on this extension of the left inner thigh as the hips shift downwards. Sweep the arms to the height of the shoulders. Exhale, left hand to the block, right arm to the sky. Revolve the left ribs forward, right ribs back, right arm up to the sky. Tone the muscles of the right leg. Ground through the right outer foot. And then notice how you want to modify this shape. Are you feeling a lot here and you can face this, you can face the abundance of this experience? Or do you need to feel a little less? Do you want to bring the hand to the thigh for support? Do you want to bring the block to a lower setting? Take the right arm forward, turn the outer edge of the right hand towards the floor, and then sweep the right arm over the right ear, drawing the left ribs forward once again, looking up beyond the right tricep muscles towards the sky. Ground, energy, strength back through the right foot. Breathe. Notice tension in the face. Attempt to soften there. Right arm to the sky. Pull on up. Straighten the left leg. Hands to the hips. Turn the left toes forward and then in a little bit. Turn the right toes out. And you might set the block to the outside of the ankle if you're using the block for triangle. Sweep the arms up. Exhale, hands to the ankle or the block. Revolve the right ribs forward, left ribs back. Tone the left leg, lift into the right kneecap. Extend through the crown of the head. Maybe gazes forward. Maybe as tradition would suggest, the gaze could go up beyond the left fingertips. Find your expression of this shape. Meet yourself where you are. Okay, inhale, come back to center. Hands back to the hips. Look to the right knee and start to bend the right knee in the direction of the right toes. Again, it might be helpful for the back inner thigh to turn the left toes in a little bit more than you have in the past if you're having any issues with the inner thigh here. Bend the right knee deeply, sweep the arms up, broaden across the chest, look out beyond the right fingertips. Inner elbows shine skyward, shoulder blades down the back. Stay connected with the left leg, strong left leg. Extension through the right inner thigh. Embody your warrior pose. Straighten the right leg, hands back to the hips. Make sure you have a block at the outside of the ankle, possibly starting the block in its highest setting. Inhale, exhale, bend the right knee, sweep the arms up. Exhale, right hand to the block, left arm to the ceiling. Stack the shoulders, open the chest. Widen the right leg into the right arm. Again, where might you want more support? Where might you be interested in going deeper today? Left arm parallels the floor, left edge of the hand towards the earth. Sweep the left arm over the left ear, then revolve the right ribs forward, gaze goes up. Strength in the left leg, awareness in the left leg. Notice the face, soften the face. And then left arm to the sky, pull on back up, right toes forward, hands together in front of your heart. Exhale, hop or step your feet back together. and shake it all out. Okay. I'm just feeling the need for empowerment. So I think these are all very empowering poses because they do present so much challenge. So let's keep going with our warriors, our goddesses, and build strength. So let's take the feet outer hip width distance apart, even a little wider, as we prepare for goddess. Turn the toes out, hands to the hips, shoulder blades on the back. Exhale, bend the knees in the direction of the toes, sink the hips down. So the thighs are attempting parallel to the floor, extension through the inner thighs, contraction through the outer hips, weight in the heels, tall spine. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, left arm underneath the right. Elbows stack, palms together, or if palms are not able to come together, grab shoulders. Forearms lift, or elbows lift, forearms away from the face, upper body back. Again, breathe, meet yourself in this moment. Perhaps start with acceptance. Consider gratitude for the struggle, for the abundance of sensation. And then straighten the legs, sweep the arms overhead, reach up, exhale, left arm underneath the right, elbows lift up, forearms away from the face, hips sink down, extension through the inner thighs, weight through the heels, lift up for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Straighten the legs, sweep the arms up, and release the arms down. Heel toe the feet back towards one another, and then shake out the legs. I think it's time. We all had a little invisible hula hooping. Okay, grab your invisible hula hoop. Mine's purple with, is it orange with purple stripes? I don't know. Purple polka dots. Okay, take a moment. Really envision your hula hoop. Okay, start to swing it around. Fluid movement, playful movement. Ankles and knees, gentle, soft. Grab the hula hoop, send it off in the other direction. So you gotta keep your arms up, otherwise your invisible hula hoop will fall to the ground. Okay. If you got any tricks, invisible hula hoop tricks, do them now. Okay, we'll do our wide-legged forward fold. Have a block or a blanket handy in front of you on your mat as you take a wide-legged stance. Turn your toes in slightly from parallel. Hands to hips, tone the muscles of your legs, shoulders back, spine tall, look up, exhale, hinge at your hips. Chest parallel to the floor, plant your wrists below your shoulders. In this halfway position, tone the muscles of your legs once again. Lift the kneecaps, press the thigh bones back as you reach the chin and chest forward, and then drape the length of your spine towards the earth. Walking your hands back, placing your wrists shoulder width distance apart, and as well as your elbows, fingers pointing in the same direction that your toes are pointing, and try to attempt grounding through the crown of the head, whether your head is on the mat or on a blanket or on a skyscraper of blocks. Meet your body where it is right now. It's the only place you have to move from. And so get those props, make that connection, and then use that connection to gain a deeper connection with this experience of extending through the head. So often we extend down through the legs and hips, extend down through the soles of the feet, but it's a rarer moment that we have the opportunity to extend down through the crown of the head. So connect with that experience of extension as you push pressure from the hips down through the head
down into whatever your head is on. So this is really prepping us for the experience of going upside down, going into a headstand where the head is bearing weight. Use the breath, accessing the back body, meeting the abundance of this moment. In the playground on the playground of our mats. So perhaps with time, with attention, with breath, the head might start to hinge closer to the earth. So you might adjust the height of your props. You might even walk your feet closer together. Walk your hands back below the shoulders, hands to hips, elbows to the ceiling, draw back through the sides of the waistline. Come on, back up, heel toe, the feet back together. Shake out the legs. Once again, access your hula hoop. Let's really get playful here. Put on your hula hoop, swing it around. Did you know that it's almost just as it's about the same experience to hula hoop with two hula hoops at the same time as it is to hula hoop with one. So once you just got the basic action of hula hooping down, it really opens up the door to some more impressive tricks. Okay, other direction. What I've learned about hula hooping in the year 2020. Okay, grab your hula hoop, toss it off, and let's do another inversion. Recently when I've been coming to my mat, inversions are like the thing I want to do. So maybe you are feeling that too, and you are ready for a second inversion today in the form of a headstand. So if you are working with pressing up into a headstand at the wall, come to a wall. If you're working at pressing up into a headstand away from the wall, then maybe don't come so close to the wall. You just, as you need that support less, distance yourself from it. Okay, so if you are using the wall, which I'll demonstrate, bring the short end of your mat to the base of the wall, fingers interlaced, about 3 inches between the heels of the hands as though you're cupping a chicken egg between your wrists. Elbows shoulder width distance. And again, setting up the same way that we set up for our forearm balance exploration. Melt the heart, shoulder blades slump together, shoulders away from the ears, draw back through the sides of the waistline, push the hips up, tuck the toes under, forearm dog pose with the fingers interlaced, keep the gaze between the forearms, walk the feet forward as the hips lift higher, not allowing the shoulders to go forward of the elbows. And then melt the head down, cupping the back of the head between the heels of the hands lightly. Push the head down. If the head doesn't reach the floor, you might have an extra pad there in the form of a folded blanket or such. Walk the feet forward, maybe even just a sweatshirt. Okay, walk the feet forward. Lift one leg up. Kick with the lifted leg. Hop with the grounded leg. Get your legs and hips perhaps to the wall. Squeeze the legs together. Move the hips away from the wall as you lengthen your tailbone up. And then move the feet away from the wall. Push down with the forearms so shoulders are continuing to lift away from the ears. Push down with the head as you lengthen up through the shoulders, along the spine, up through the tailbone, up through the heels. And do any variations here. So if variations are not
not what you are ready for, then just tune me out for a moment and tune into your own body. You might shift your hips towards the left wall, shift your hips to the right wall, keeping your shoulders and upper body stable and steady. So I think about this one as like the washing machine cycle, kind of agitating the hips side to side, testing your balance, testing this range of motion. So as we twist, we're usually seated or standing. We're usually we're usually not twisting with the hips. So this is an interesting experience here that we can access from our headstand. So if that experience has lost interest for you, then stop. If you want to do any other variations that you are familiar with or that you are exploring, use headstand as your playground. And when you are done, come on down. Perhaps coming back out the same way you went in. Knees together, hips to the heels, arms forward. Again, going from our active headstand pose, our challenging moment, our meeting with struggle, to this moment of surrender. So this prostrate position, it's kind of a position of humility or gratitude, an opportunity to come back to the breath, to release the weight of the head, the heart, the hips, the arms, the shoulders. If you like, sweep the arms back, turn the palms up, let the shoulders widen apart, countering that strengthening the contraction of the upper back muscles now with this release, this surrender. Slowly push your way back up to seated.
And we'll do our cat and cow, or not cat and cow, our camel rabbit sequence, my new favorite, my new standby. So take your knees hip width distance apart, and again, consider that idea that you let's not suffer needlessly in our practice. So if you have pain that can be alleviated with the use of a prop, then the knees are a good place to start. Perhaps bring the knees onto some padding. You might place some blocks beside your ankles for support. You might tuck your toes under. Choose your adventure. This is your playground. Hands to your low back. Place your hands in your back pockets. Elbows back, shoulder blades on the back. Lengthen down through the tailbone. Lift into the gaze. Lift the gaze skyward. Lift into the chin. Access the front body. So this is a posture of opening, of kind of this trust fall, this trust fall into the unknown. So have this open-heartedness as we approach this shape. Keep the legs toned, tailbone lengthening down as the heart expands. Maybe you start to look back as you curl in the upper back. Perhaps the hands seek blocks, fingertips on the blocks. Perhaps the hands seek heels, fingertips to the inside to the heels, thumbs to the outside to the heels. Keep the hips I want to say pressing forward as the heart lifts, and then decide what you're doing with your head. Either taking the head back, releasing it back, keeping the head lifted, or turning the gaze forward to support and suspend the head. Once you're ready, come on up. Hands to hips, hips forward, chest forward, head comes up last, knees together, perhaps shifting off of the padding, hips sink to the heels, come back through your rock pose. Hips heavy, spine tall, shoulder blades down the back. Perhaps eyes are focused softly out into the distance. Perhaps your eyes are closed. Again, this moment of reflection, of neutrality, to absorb and experience the resonant energy of the active camel pose. Again, kind of a vulnerable, receptive pose. Okay, let's push back up for a second camel. Ground through the knees, hip width distance, hands either to the back pockets, or if you'd like, turn the fingertips up towards the shoulders as you press the heels of the hands down the low back. Elbows back, chest lifts, hips stay over the knees. Open up along the front of the body. Go back slowly, exploring the path into the unknown. Hands can stay on the back. They can seek the blocks. They can seek the heels. You might take an arm along the side of the ear as you reach back, curl back. You might switch. Take the other arm back. What if you just take both arms back? Oh my gosh. Then come back up. Knees together. Take a seat to the heels. Palms to the thighs. Neutralize the spine. Sit with this. Sit with the abundance of this moment. So again, this idea that the practice is a playground, a safe space, a training ground to explore and expand the experiences of our bodies. So we go to challenging, uncomfortable places with our practice that might unlock or unleash thoughts or emotions that are difficult to sit with, that we don't seek out outside of our mats, but we find this safe space, this playground to explore those things. Okay, remove any padding from in front of you or any props. Take your arms to your sides, roll the shoulders back. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead, and then as you exhale, hinge at the hips and fold forward. Hands and head touching down at relatively the same time, keeping the hips low. And with another inhale, come on back up, drawing up through the sides of the waistline, growing tall along the spine, palms together, thumbs crossed. Exhale and fold forward once again. Hands and head touch down, hips stay low. Inhale, come back using the strength of the spine, the abdomen to come back up. Last one, fold forward, head and hands down. And then sweep the arms back, reaching for the outsides of the feet, wrapping the fingers to the insides of the heels. You might choose to stay here or tilt your chin to your chest, pull your forehead towards or to the knees.
Begin to push your hips up as you kick your feet down, coming into a rabbit pose. So a deep folding in, a contraction of the front body to open the back body, the space along the backs between and along the back side of the vertebra. Use your breath here. Inhale, open up those spaces, expand the back body. Exhale, pull the belly button strongly in towards the spine, contracting the front body. Create expansion between the shoulder blades, push the feet down, lift the hips up, and then slowly hips back to the heels. Push your palms into your thighs, press your way back up into the neutral, into the rock pose, the sedentary, inanimate shape. Okay, arms to your sides, palms forward, shoulders back. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Head and hands touch down, hips stay low. Inhale, draw back up. And exhale, flow forward. Inhale, come on up. And exhale, fold forward. Sweep the arms back, grab the insides of the heels with the fingers, thumbs to the outsides, tuck the chin to the chest, forehead towards or to the knees, push the feet down, lift the hips up, open up the back side of the body, contract the front body into rabbit pose. It still eludes me why this is called rabbit pose. but it is. Arrive in your shape with your breath. Slowly lower hips down, press palms into thighs, press your way up, and then swing your legs forward. Come on down to lie on your back. Take your arms out to a T, and as you exhale, let the knees fall to the left. Inhale, knees through center, and exhale, knees fall to the right. Inhale through center, and this time as the knees fall to the left, leave them there. Let the weight of the legs release down towards the earth. You might flex the left foot, cross the left ankle to the outside of the right thigh. Use the weight of the left leg to draw the right inner thigh downward. Soften the abdomen. Release the weight of the legs. If you have space, you might extend the right arm along your right ear. Grab the right wrist with your left hand. Gently pull the right side body long. And transitioning to a less effortful point in the practice. Release the wrist if you have it. Release the cross of the ankle if you've done that. Bring the knees back to center, re-square them before releasing the knees to the right. If you did it on the first side, you might again hook the ankle to the outside of the left thigh. If you didn't do it on the first side, do you want to do it now? I'm not going to be the yoga police here. I don't even know. Heck, I don't even know if you're doing this. So again, it's your practice. It's your playground. Explore, experiment. Fall off the monkey bars and try again. Left arm along the left ear. Grab the left wrist. Gently pull with the right hand. Release the wrist, unhook the ankle, re-square the hips, and let the right knee widen out to the right as though your right leg is preparing for a cross-legged seated position. And then take your left foot out to the outside of the right thigh. Left foot comes all the way down onto the sole of the foot, all the way down onto the floor. Okay. So this could be the pose if this is an interesting place to be. If there's an offering of abundance in this shape, perhaps stay here. If there's not much being offered by this shape, you might reach down for the left ankle with the right hand, drawing the left hip gently back towards the floor. If this is painful, unnecessarily painful, then you might bring your body back to a figure 4 shape. So just crossing, keep the ankle crossed over the front of the right thigh and then draw the right thigh into the chest. Again, if there's not something to be, if there's no depth to explore here, you might experiment with reaching down and grabbing the right ankle as well, or the right foot with the left hand. Release the ankle and the foot if you have those. Flex the right foot, and then everybody come up to a figure 4 shape. So the left ankle is crossed over the right thigh. The right foot is back on the floor. And let's come into the figure 4, right thigh into the chest, interlace the fingers. So I think this does, well, it's a different shape. It targets a different part of the low back, the outer hip. But if you'd like to take this, to keep exploring along this path, you can release the right ankle or the right shin with the fingers and then hook the elbows underneath the left shin as you curl the head and shoulders up away from the floor. Extend the right leg straight. Keep the left ankle straight by keeping the left foot flexed. And you can cradle the left shin with your arms by placing the left foot in the crux of the right elbow, placing the left knee in the crux of the left elbow. Right leg extends forward, may begin to melt down. And then maybe hook the right elbow underneath the left wrist, take the left arm up alongside the left ear, bend the elbow, and grab the fingers, interlace, or not, cup the fingers together. So this is just some wild stuff that you might be interested in. You might say, no, that slide is too high for me today. Not interested. Okay, release the ankle, come on back through center, and we'll do all that on the second side. So left knee winds out to the left as though you're preparing the left side for a cross-legged seated position. And then right foot comes to the outside of the left thigh onto the floor. So again, you can start right into the figure 4 shape if this isn't doing anything for you. You can grab the left ankle with the left hand, drawing the right shoulder, right hip gently back towards the floor, widening the right knee away from the face. Again, you could even reach down and try to grab the left foot with the right hand. Let's bring the legs back up, transitioning to the figure 4 if you're not already there. Draw the left thigh in towards the chest, interlace the fingers behind the left thigh or in front of the left shin. As you draw the shin closer towards the chest, either choose to stay here or hook the elbows underneath the right shin as you extend the left leg, peel the head and shoulders up away from the floor. Keep the right foot flexed, ankles straight, right knee widening away from the right shoulder. Cradle the shin, knee in the right elbow, foot in the left elbow. Or hook the left elbow under the right ankle, right arm along the right ear, lengthen the right side, and then bend the right elbow, resting the head back into the bend of the right elbow. Extend through the left leg, lower the left leg, keep the right foot active. And then left foot down, unhook, unwind, recenter, lift up the feet, cup the knees with the hands, gently rock the knees, the low back from side to side. Feel the subtle pressure, or not so subtle pressure, of the back body against the mat. Then let's pull the knees in and up towards the armpits, preparing for happy baby. Grab the outside edges of your feet. Turn the soles of the feet skyward, shins perpendicular to the earth, and rock. Side to side, one knee down, then the other. One knee down, then the other. Feet together. Soles of the feet come together, knees widen apart, interlace the fingers around the outer edges of the feet, inner thighs expand, lower back lengthens, arms are pulled taut, head stays grounded, reclined, bound angle pose. And finally, we have arrived at the hug portion of the practice. So wrap your arms around your legs and give yourself a big hug. An expression of gratitude for all that you have endured. Grab your wrists, forearms, or elbows. Tuck the chin to the chest, forehead towards or to the knees. Squeeze the legs, tuck the tailbone. Pull yourself into a tight space. Thank you. And then let it go. Find your way to a supported position of rest and reflection, whether it be traditional savasana, lying on your back, or again, if you're craving those inversions, you might take the legs up the wall. You might fold over the support of a bolster. Get yourself comfortable for this space. Prepare. Put on a sweater. Grab a blanket. And then as you come into the shape, take a little bit of time to set all your limbs down, lengthen through the tailbone, Tuck your shoulders. Unfurl your fingers and palms. Lengthen the neck as you set down this beloved burden. So let this body in which you reside, let it rest. reconnect with your breath. Invite more air in with your next inhalation. Breath swelling like the incoming tide. And exhale, let the breath recede. Begin to bring movement back to your fingers and toes. You might start to rock your arms and legs from side to side, reawakening the physical body in whatever way feels intuitive. Feet to the floor, extend the left arm along your left ear and roll onto your left side, transitioning from our practice, from the corpse pose into a fetal position. Press your way back to a seated shape. Reorient in this moment. Listen. Perhaps feel air, sense light. Then turn your awareness inward. Bring your hands together in front of your heart and we'll chant Om to close the practice. Exhale, empty the lungs, and inhale for Om. Thank you for your presence, your patience, and your devotion to this practice. The light in me recognizes and bows to the light in you. Namaste. Thank you guys. Thanks for being here. It looks like there's some technical difficulties today, so I hope nobody was too frustrated with this format today. It can be frustrating. Please reach out to me with any questions, comments, concerns about class today or in the past. I'd love to hear from you guys. It's good to connect with Mary and Nicole this morning. Thanks for being on the Zoom call. Jason, I assume you're out there, and Susanna as well. So thank you guys for being here, and I will be doing a 10 a.m. class on Thanksgiving, hosted by the Revolution Therapy and Yoga. So you would, if you wanted to get on that Zoom call, you could go to the Revolution website and sign up through the Ubindi app, and it will be a free class. It'll be a 60-minute practice. Hopefully, my idea is that it would be accessible to all levels of practitioners, even more so than I typically try to make things accessible. So join me for that if you'd like. I'll be here again next Monday, and I hope you all have a bountiful week.